Welcome to another episode of NeverEndingPanel.com. We are shooting live from the Pasadena Hilton at WesterCon 63. I'm your host and moderator, Donnie Collin. We have some special guests tonight. We have Gigi Johnson, who is a socio-technologist. If I say socio... I'm not going to do it because she's got the sword. Socio-technologist, I will not say the other joke that was coming to mind. Next to Gigi is
a
best-selling New York Times author Todd McCaffrey of Dragons...
Fire.
And forthcoming author of Dragons...
Dragon Girl.
Next to Todd McCaffrey is Eitan Collin, my brother, fellow Duberhead, and founder of NeverEndingPanel.com. Next to Eitan is Soundman Tim Trebich, founder of Soft Egg, and creator of all sorts of really cool musical products for the DS Lite. So today's, well, actually, since it's on quantum mechanics, there is no time. Panel is quantum mechanics in 10 minutes.
So what you're saying is we did this yesterday.
We did. It's done, and we're going to do it again.
But there is a certain amount of uncertainty involved in the uncertainty of whether we've done this already or not.
That's exactly right.
So we are certain. So we can only be certain that we're not positive that we've done this.
Well, it only depends upon whether we're positive in the positronic sense or whether we're positonic in the leptonic sense. Because as we know, leptonic relationships tend to never last very long.
That's true.
Unless, of course, you're dealing with neutrinos, which cannot reproduce if you have any sterile neutrinos around.
Which reminds me of my favorite joke.
Brain hurt. So backing up, for our audience who have no idea what quantum mechanics is, Todd or Gigi, take a shot at it. If you could sort of explain it briefly, with time not being involved, sort of, yes. What is quantum mechanics?
Quantum mechanics is a study of mechanics at a very small quantum level, basically at the smallest level that we can get to. We're talking about distances in the realm of 10 to the minus 38 meters and times in the realm of 10 to the minus 23 seconds.
Why is that important for somebody to study?
Why is that important for somebody to study? Because among other things, nowadays, our computers are actually getting down to the level where quantum effects are interfering with them. With quantum mechanics, we get a concept known as teleportation, where we can actually transmit information between two signals across large distances without any connection between them. We also have something known as quantum dots, which are very useful for trapping electrons, performing other things. At this point, there's talk of developing solar cells with a thermal efficiency of 60% using quantum dots.
There's also talk of our sound man thwopping you on the head because you're touching the microphone.
Touching the microphone.
So continuing with the talk
But isn't this the opposite of the physics we think we grew up with in high school?
And no hitting the table or he'll hit you also.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I will not hit the table anymore.
Okay.
You can just hit the panelists.
Excellent.
Very good. So yes, it is. It is. Well, it is and it isn't. It depends upon who we are. This is the stuff that started coming out when Einstein
Bohr's got bored.
Pardon?
Bohr's got bored. Nicholas Bohr got bored.
It's Neil Bohr.
Can he finish the answer?
Neil Bohr. Yes, and Heisenberg and all the other people were starting to look at such amazing experiments as when we were shooting neutrons through the solid parts of atoms and all. We started realizing that there was an uncertainty and a duality to what we saw in nature, that we would think of things as being at one moment a particle and at another moment a wave. So we had the wave-particle duality of nature. As we started looking at this more, we realized that there was actually at this level of major uncertainty. We could find the speed of a particle, but we couldn't find the mass of a particle at the same time. The act of observing something changed the result. Famously, there's the whole question of Schrodinger's cat, which...
Still missing, by the way. Apparently.
No, actually, Schrodinger's cat is...
We know exactly where it is. We just don't know if it's alive or dead.
Yes, we do not know if it's alive or... Okay, so it was alive the last time you fed it, but until we open the box with the atomically controlled glass vial full of poison, we will not know if the glass vial has gone off because the atomic clock has run down and Fluffy is dead, or if Fluffy is still alive. And this is one of the amazing...
Actually, Fluffy is both.
Yes, right now Fluffy is superimposed or superpositioned.
Okay, in a nutshell, the Schrodinger's cat.
In a nutshell, you cannot.
What? Yeah. What is? Wait,
I just did it.
10 minutes. You have 10 minutes.
I just did it. I said we have Fluffy in a box.
Okay, go ahead.
Fluffy is alive. Fluffy is dead.
Fluffy is in a box with a poisonous vial of gas and an atomic clock that may or may not count down at some point to end. We are waiting for the atomic clock to count down. We don't know until we open the box whether Fluffy is still alive or dead. Therefore, Fluffy is considered to be in both the same states. Now that's a
because we don't know.
We don't know. That's
zombie cat going through the world.
Who's doing all the cat or
Wait. No asking questions without the microphone from Mike Girl. Michelle.
Who's doing all the caterwauling?
Oh, no time for puns.
You see, there's an uncertainty to that, going with Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, so we don't really know. Now, the other cool thing that we get with quantum mechanics, I mean, one of the things is quantum mechanics is a field developed first by Albert Einstein, and at the time he thought it was unfinished and wrong. He thought general relativity, which was his other big theory, was the right thing. Now we're finding evidence to show that general relativity is probably busted. And at the same point, we find more and more support for quantum mechanics. We're still finding all sorts of problems down at the bottom end of this quantum mechanical world. And at the same time, we're actually using it in day-to-day operations. We're beginning to use it in our video cameras, in our cameras. We're talking about using it for cryptography.
When you say using it, how are we using it in our
In other words,
our
you
cameras
could send a piece
are
of coding.
No,
Sorry, go ahead.
our cameras now are getting so small in terms of the amount of pixels and the distance between things in our computers that we have to worry about quantum effects with how electrons are traveling in our silicon wafers.
Because of the randomness.
Yes, because of the randomness. Because an electron might jump from one spot to another, and instead of having
And the data can be corrupted.
The data can be corrupted.
So they're creating software to adjust for the quantum randomness.
Actually, they're creating software. What can happen if they build a quantum computer and they're working towards this? A quantum computer would allow you to answer an array of questions more quickly than we can possibly answer it now.
And data storage would be beyond almost incalculable.
Yeah, potentially. And the other side of this is with a quantum computer, we could potentially answer questions before we ask them, which brings up the whole question of causality. Which
So it would be like Mom.
it would be better than Mom.
Mom, where's the under the couch?
Yes, exactly.
Moms are quantum computers.
With
You
eyes in the
noticed
backs of
this.
our heads.
Yes.
That's what it is.
That's
well,
pretty
those
cool.
are quantum dots at the back of your head.
No questions without a microphone.
It's very difficult to not ask questions.
Is it science or magic?
Is it science or magic?
Yes.
Well, I have a theory.
Yes.
Magic is.
Well, it depends. Magic is defined by Arthur C. Clarke as anything that is beyond our current understanding. Since we seem to understand most of this right now, then it has to be science, doesn't it?
But I also have a different theory about what
But,
magic
you
is.
see, what?
Well, I have a theory that magic is simply, since perception is reality, I think all magic really is the ability to take somebody else's perception and pose it on our own, and thereby create things automatically there. Simply because if perception is reality, if you could borrow somebody else's perception for a moment, you could change the reality you happen to be receiving that moment simply using somebody else's perception from some other time or place.
Cue sound
Ergo
effects of
magic.
bong bubbles being, dude, that was awesome. Go ahead. No.
That was awesome. Okay.
That means we have 1 minute.
We have 1 minute.
What?
But this is changing the metaphor from things being predictable and defined and mechanistic into everything being not predictable
Right.
and needing to look, and which is also impacting society. Since I'm on the panel, I thought I'd say something about that. Because in many ways, about that same time where we started looking at quantum mechanics in our mechanical world, we also started looking at it in our social world. And in a very similar way, we tend to look at people and organizations as having that same probabilistic, trying to figure out what the heck is going on effect.
Yeah, and we're also we're beginning to see that in the way we're working in things where quantum mechanics brings you not only to the realm where answers are no longer black or white, they're not even necessarily gray. They are kind of unknown until you get there, and actually looking for the answers helps predict the answers.
So
Pretty
the way,
much that's what it
Perfect
comes down to.
So-
Quantum mechanics is sort of a fuzzy sort of logic, and that's okay.
well, the way it was explained to me once...
We have 8 seconds left.
The way it was explained to me is that Newton built a castle built upon a foundation of stone, Einstein put it upon a foundation of water, and now we have this castle we call the universe built upon a foundation of air, and yet somehow it's still there.
And twinkles.
Well, more than air,
And
actually,
wrapping
And
up.
we're...
thought.
And on that thought, thank you very much for being here with us on NeverEndingPanel.com. Eitan, do your under the table thing.
If you think that we did something wrong or did something right, please comment below and let us know.
Good night, or day, or morning. No time really matters. Good night. Bye. Sort of. See ya.
See ya.